Welcome to CEO IntroNet. I'm your host, Patty Owens. There's never been a better time to start and run a company, particularly in the technology space. But the challenges that come from the uncertainty in that space are almost overwhelming. We're going to meet 3 CEOs who will offer perspectives on how they separate the wheat from the chaff, how they actually lead and manage companies in the midst of incredible change. Let's meet our guests.
Sam Levin, CEO of Mavenwire, with U.S. headquarters in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania.
Nathan Egan, CEO and founder of PeopleLinks, and we're based in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
I'm Bob Mall, CEO of Artisan Mobile, and proudly located in Old City, Philadelphia.
So welcome to all 3 of you. I love the way we have you set up actually today, because I think we're going to move from left to right in terms of increasing change and perspective on what it means to be a tech leader and in today's environment. So Sam, let's start with you. Tell us a little bit about how you interact with clients and how you lead your organization to deliver value for those clients.
Sure, we're in the business of implementing supply chain services and solutions, and many of the customers that we implement, from Fortune 500 to small and pop shops, are in a paper industry. You know, they're managing spreadsheets and pads and order forms, and a lot of times we go in and we take those paper processes and we turn them into standard solutions that are put into web-based applications to allow them to be more efficient, reduce clutter, reduce overhead, and improve, human capital.
So you're sort of moving from old school to middle school, if you will, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you're making an immediate improvement when you're engaged with clients and you're dragging them out of the dark ages. Now, Nathan, you're in a different business because you're piggybacking on what has been a relatively new technology, LinkedIn. And you're working with clients who are clearly out of old school and really in more of a modern era. So what does that mean for how you engage?
So a lot of our clients are actually pretty old school as well. And what's happened is their employees are now on social networks. So we're in the business of helping companies and their employees use social networks for business purposes. So for example, how do I use LinkedIn to communicate and manage relationships with my target market? I think one of the biggest challenges in this, hyper sort of speed environment where technology is changing so quickly is people don't understand the technology. They're using it, but they don't have, real education around how to manage relationships like we do in the real world. So it's a really big opportunity, and really excited about it.
So it's interesting, right? So you are, part of your role vis-a-vis your clients is you're acting as catalyst and you're opening the door for them to figure out what is valuable about new technology. You're sort of defining for them, if you will, what the valuable paths are to follow.
That's right.
In order to leverage the technology changes. And Bob, you are, I think, the capstone on this conversation because this is not your first startup. You've done multiple technology startups. So what have you seen over the years in technology that has changed about the pace of change in the space?
Well, certainly would validate that the pace of change is increasing dramatically for sure, but also the ability to build a tech company, I think, is getting easier. I mean, the cost of the infrastructure behind the scenes has dropped dramatically with cloud computing. You're able to bring solutions to market much faster. In the mobile space, as we know, it's exploding rapidly. There's tons of opportunities. One of the things I love about it is a lot of white space opportunities for products. The challenge is figuring out which one, right? And you've got to really, I think, have a very strong sense of where you think the market's going. With my last company, Boomi, I'll never forget, we were building a cloud integration platform to integrate applications, and for the first several years, people were like, why do we need that, right? And so, no different in the mobile space. It's gelling, it's evolving, but you really need to have some, I think, confidence in where you think the market's heading in order to be developing products that you think your customers are going to need.
So in fact, confidence is the right word, right? Because you're both teaching and learning at the same time. And it really is incumbent upon all of you to sift through those possibilities for value in the future and deliver the right ones to your clients. So how do you sustain the confidence? Where do you really trust that your intuition about where the market is moving is accurate?
I always think, I talk often about the dichotomies of being an entrepreneur, because on the one hand, you have to be supremely confident in the vision that you have, and at the same time, sort of constantly be listening to the market to say, is this something that is resonating and is being understood and accepted by the market. And I think there's an interesting pull there, but you've got to be both. I think you got to what was the overused Wayne Gretzky quote about skating to where the puck's going to be. You got to do that, but at the same time be watching to, sort of make small or subtle changes in your path as you go, what we call pivoting in the startup world.
So those strategic pivots are definitions of where that puck will be down the road. So I saw you nodding, Sam. So what were you wanting to add?
Yeah, and it's not only just following the market, but I think as an entrepreneur, you need to be willing to collaborate with other entrepreneurs. If you're not really talking to your peers and talking about where you're going, I think that's integral to not only just what product is next, but what is everybody thinking about where things are going next. And I think you can find that through just open collaboration, whether it's local leader groups or entrepreneurial organizations or just meeting great people.
So that's fascinating. The element of collaboration actually would help you learn more quickly. And it's different in the tech space. People in tech are generally fairly open and curious and willing to collaborate. What do you think?
So just to touch on a couple of points here, I mean, we always look at ourselves as a learning system. And so we're constantly learning from our clients and defining product requirements and capabilities from our clients. So that real-time feedback is what's giving us a competitive advantage in the marketplace. I think one of the challenges of running a company in today's environment is the speed of data and information that's coming at you. So I think one of the biggest challenges being a CEO is processing that, filtering out signal and noise, and then making decisions. And every single day, every moment, things are kind of changing. And so managing that is really challenging, but it's also really exciting.
Well, I can see where it would be both, but how do you actually figure it out? What tools do you use to separate the signal from the noise?
So, again, always working with our clients. We also have a great team around us that, can act as a sort of stopgap if I get too excited about something and somebody's like, well, wait a second, let's really validate that. So we have sort of rapid iterations and testing that we do, not necessarily with products, but with ideas. So we have our own sort of filter internally.
Yeah, we have actually a collaborative network where if something comes up and we have doubts or thoughts or we get too excited about it, we try to build a collaborative environment, throw things on the wall, see what sticks, and 9 times out of 10, something different comes out of it that's even better than what we went in with.
So Bob, let's end with you because you have had some perspective on this field over a decade or more. So do you think that this is accurate, that the collaboration has increased and that people's willingness to share and talk has developed because the pace of change has increased so much?
I think in two very important areas. One, between entrepreneurs and the collaboration that occurs there, but also I think the nature of the relationship with the customer has changed over time. And what you see now is a much more participative role of the customer in building businesses, and as these guys have said, we absolutely welcome that. So you see these platforms now where you're building community around, you're not just building the product, you're building the community around the product, you're engaging the customers, and then they feel a sense of ownership around this solution that we're building together. And I think that's been one of the more dramatic changes that I've seen over the last decade is this new compact, if you will, between vendor and customer and jointly building things that ultimately bring great value to our customers.
So clearly, I think the opportunity here is for that compact, as you defined it, to continue, and that the collaboration between clients and customers and vendors will be fruitful for all of us going forward. I want to thank our guests for joining us. I'm Patty Owens. Have a great day.